Welcome into Getting Help for Uncle Sam. In the year 2018, I started an organization called Concerned Citizens Organized for Police Support. Purpose was to give support to law enforcement in all the work that they do on a day-to-day basis. When I put the organization together, one of the first persons that I approached to see what I was doing is the Sheriff of Montgomery County, Sheriff Derrick Cunningham. He looked at it and he said, "Give me a thumbs up." So we're ready to go. Today we have as our guest Sheriff Derrick Cunningham. You've been the sheriff since 2015. Hard to believe.
Well, Jack, it seemed like it just flew by.
Well, you've been in law enforcement for over 30 years.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And
started off at 21 years old.
Working at the Montgomery Police Department.
Yes, you did.
And just really, I've been blessed. I mean, just to be able to climb the ladder and to be able to be the sheriff of Montgomery County, it means a lot.
Yep. Originally from Tacoma, Washington.
Yes.
Yep.
Migrated to Alabama with my parents and grew up in Tuscaloosa.
That's right.
Yes.
Until 21 years old, you see this ad. We need tough people to get out here and do this job.
From Mayor Fulmer.
From Mayor Fulmer, yeah. And a lot of people remember Mayor Fulmer.
Yes.
It's amazing. But it's very interesting, Sheriff Cunningham. What I did when I put the organization together, there was two reasons I did it. First and foremost, I was concerned about the amount of police officers being shot and killed in the line of duty. We talk about people, law enforcement shooting people, and the amount of people they've shot, citizens, is not even half of law enforcement that's shot on a yearly basis. Of course, last year in Alabama, you hate to say it, was a monumental year in the wrong way.
You're absolutely right. And, we start talking about law enforcement officers that lost their lives. We talk about my friend, Big John.
Yes.
I wear a bracelet every day in memory of Sheriff Big John. So we lost a lot of officers last year in the state of Alabama. I went to a lot of the funerals. So, it's something that's embedded in my memory, and it's something that you'll never forget. So it's something that with organizations such as this, being able to give a thumbs up and let people know that we appreciate law enforcement, that means a lot. In today's times, we really need it.
Well, and that's the reason I have you here. Most of my audience are older people. And we reach the senior market. We grew up with law enforcement, and we grew up with the rule of law. And it seems like, and we respected. I told somebody the other day, I'm 77 years old. If I get pulled over by a law enforcement officer, I'm going to yes sir and yes ma'am them to death. While it's going, at that point, they're in charge. Something's gone wrong, and let them do what they're going to do. Now, if they didn't do it exactly right, later on I'll come tell somebody. But at that point, they're in charge.
You're absolutely right, and that's one of the things that we always tell our youth when I go out and talk is, don't try to have a trial and jury on the side of the road.
Amen.
Let's do that once we get in the courtroom. Let's do that once you leave the side of the road. Call us. That's why we're in office. That's why you have sheriffs and police chiefs.
Yes.
Call and report suspicious activity and suspicious behavior because your eyes and ears, as we look at it for our law enforcement officers, every single day they go out and they're doing their job, and we are under that impression that they're doing their job the way that we expect for them to do.
Yes.
But with our citizens and with people reporting suspicious behaviors to us, that allows us to look into those bad behaviors. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to pick out the bad apples is by the community letting us know that we have bad apples.
Every organization in this country has bad apples.
You're absolutely right.
One of my later guests today is going to be Father Manuel Williams. You know Father Manuel?
Yes.
Probably. Great guy, a Catholic priest. I'm Catholic. Bingo. Talk about bad apples. We've gotten the slap on the hand a time or two. But, the majority of the priests they're doing the job they're supposed to. And it's the same thing with law. It's the same thing with everything. A doctor. There's bad doctors out there,
Yes. And I gave that same talk just last week talking about bad apples. But at the same time, it's great for the community to be able to let us know and to expose those apples so that we can go ahead and get them out of our bushels so it don't ruin the other ones. So it's very important. But at the same time, while you're picking those bad apples out, you still got to be able to recognize those that are going above and beyond their job. I mean, we had a deputy just last week. We had a lady that was on the bridge wanting to jump off. He was able to talk her off of the bridge. But those are the stories that I think the community need to hear about.
And that's the guy. And that's the guy we'll honor.
That's what
absolutely.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You'll see him.
You'll see him.
You will
Yeah.
see him because what he did by stopping his car and getting out of his car and running up to the bridge and talking to this person. And we talk about de-escalation all the time on a national level. And I keep telling people that I've trained over 70% of my agency in de-escalation tactics. That's my jail and that's my people on the road. So they go to school to learn de-escalation tactics. So therefore, they know how to talk with a person that's in a crisis mode. And we need that. And he was able to talk to this person that's in a crisis mode off of a bridge and to get that person to the hospital so they can get treatment. So that's what we're starting to see law enforcement starting to do nationally, is to be able to communicate. The times are out for us to be able to drive up on the scene and say, well, I'm gonna be here 5 minutes.
No.
You can't put a time frame on it.
No.
It takes time.
No.
It takes time. I may come to your house on a burglary.
Yeah.
And you want to tell me everything that took place, and you may tell me something that may spark some interest in our conversation and say, dang, this same type situation happened at a burglary not just recently. And we can tie these two burglaries together. So it takes communication skills for us in law enforcement to be able to help us fight crime and to be able to help us de-escalate a situation. So we got to have those skills.
And you guys are doing a great job. I'm going to get you to come back next week. And we're going to do another one because I want to let our viewers know that you as grandparents have an influence and should have over your grandchildren. Teach them the right way. And of course, the big thing is we cannot defund and get rid of law enforcement. No. You and I and a lot of people be out there yelling. I don't know what Kool-Aid somebody drank, but that is not going to happen.
No, okay? We need that.
You're right. And just remember this, as I said before, the law enforcement has got a tough job. Let them do their job. 99.9% of the time, they're there to make sure that you live a better life. And we'll be right back right after this.